organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV,
Building Connections, one event at the UI, is helping bridge the gap between international and domestic students.
while homecoming was a big topic of discussion last week, there was also another conversation happening on campus, a conversation that did not end with a football game.
Injuries are coming to haunt the Iowa football team.
But there are plenty of second string and third string players ready to step up. Find out who coming up in sports.
All of that and more coming up.
Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hannah Hawks.
And I'm Kelsey Sanger.
The University of Iowa is about to host a handful of presidential candidates. This week, Republican candidate Rand Paul will be visiting 11 colleges across the state. On Monday, he will be making his third and final stop at the UI for a political rally. It will start at 6 p.m. on the Pentecrest. Tuesday, Iowa City will also be visited by another Republican presidential hopeful, Mike Huckabee. Huckabee will be campaigning in Iowa for 3 days. He will be appearing at the Grace Fellowship Church from 7 to 8.
Katy Perry is coming to Iowa, but not for the reason you might think. The pop star isn't coming to perform, but to help generate support for Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. A rally for Clinton will be held on October 24th in Des Moines before the Iowa's Democratic Party's Jackson Jefferson Dinner fundraiser. The rally is free and open to the public. Details about the specifics of the event will be released later this week.
The man who was convicted of rigging an Iowa lottery in 2010, Eddie Tipton, is facing new charges. Tipton has been charged with yet another felony for allegedly rigging another lottery. The lottery ended with a large payout collected in Colorado and Wisconsin totaling $1.3 million. These payouts have been connected with Tipton and his associates. The investigation has been described as extremely intricate and has now become nationwide. The investigation will be looking to identify instances where people have taken advantage of their positions and relationships to commit lottery fraud.
Beginning October 5th and ending today, mental illness awareness has been celebrated across the nation. But here in Iowa, just because you're aware, it doesn't mean you can always get help. As of 2011, nearly 2/3 of the counties in the state of Iowa had no psychiatrists at all, and the state ranked 47th out of 50 states for number of psychiatrists per capita. Daily Iowan TV's Megan Sanchez sat down with advocates for mental illness awareness to discuss the ongoing issue.
According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, more commonly known as NAMI, a mental illness is a condition that impacts a person's thinking, feeling, or mood and may affect his or her ability to relate to others and function on a daily basis. You may have heard of disorders such as depression, bipolar, and schizophrenia, but did you also know that eating disorders, ADHD, and anxiety are mental illnesses? 1 in 5 adults in the United States experience mental illness in a given year. Here in Iowa City, there are many services available to help treat and cope with mental illness. However, this is not the case throughout the state of Iowa.
Johnson County is a service-rich community. We have lots of nonprofits and lots of services for people with mental illnesses. But you get 20 miles outside of Iowa City and people do not have the services they need. To get to a doctor to have therapy is either a drive to Iowa City or they're waiting 2 to 3 months longer than they need to.
This is Jordan Clemson. He lives with Asperger's, an autism spectrum disorder. He said he has found community through resources like Our Place, a center in Iowa City dedicated to providing services to those who have suffered from mental illness. Jordan said he feels fortunate to have grown up here, where these resources are available.
I literally love Iowa City. We can be totally different people, yet I can see somebody on the street and be like, hey, I disagree with you. It's like, it's okay. That's cool. I understand. And I don't think you really find that many places. Iowa City has that balance of like, I can take the bad with the good, and I love it, and it's home.
Mary said she sees a stigma associated with mental illness. People don't want others to know that they have it. Jordan said that inner struggle can be difficult.
You know, what is mental illness really? And the more we think about it, the harder it is for some people to grasp, but it's painful. It's very painful. I can't compare it to any other pain.
Mary said the need for services in our state is apparent, but the number of services available is lacking. And education on the wide spectrum of mental health challenges will help to get proper funding. Reporting in Iowa City, this is Megan Sanchez, Daily Iowan TV.
A large debate has been generating a lot of talk across the state. What rights do employees have in regard to self-defense in the workplace? An Iowa code says that the state recognizes the right of self-defense and also has a stand your ground statute, meaning any employee is allowed to use reasonable force or even deadly force if they feel that their life is at risk in some way. Despite this code, many argue that they are not protected by their employment policies and are at a risk of being fired for self-defense, even if they feel that they are even at risk. Companies are finding that they are not within their rights to fire employees and that it is within their rights to defend themselves. Well, Kelsey, it was pretty warm walking to the studio today.
It sure was. It's unbelievably warm for October, but hopefully we can get back down to the 60s soon.
Absolutely. Let's toss it over to Casey in the weather studio to see how long these warm temps are going to last.
Thanks, guys. Today has been a lot warmer than the past few, but you can expect temps to drop to below 70 for the whole week. On Monday, there's a chance for clouds with temperatures in the low 60s. Moving into the afternoon, cloudy skies with temps in the upper 60s are what you can look for. Looking to the evening, you'll want a jacket on if you're out because it will only be in the upper 50s. Looking to the rest of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday will see nearly identical temperatures with highs in the upper 60s and lows in the mid 40s. Skies should be sunny. Thursday is the only other day where clouds should be seen, but temps will again be in the upper 60s for the high and a low in the mid 40s. To round out the week, Friday and Saturday should be about the same, with temperatures in the upper 50s for highs and even mid 30s for the lows. Friday should see sunny skies, and Saturday will likely be partly cloudy. Well, guys, that's all I have in the weather studio. Back to you at the desk.
One event last Friday is helping students get out of their comfort zones by meeting people from a completely different culture. Yezi Shen has the story.
The Conversation Center is a program that has been cooperating with Education Department, Rhetoric Department, ESL, and Teacher Leader Center. This is a good place for domestic students who want to make friends from other culture and for international students who want to improve their English.
The purpose of Conversation Center be shorted for CC. The purpose of CC is that to create a stage or a chances for domestic students interact with international students. As we all know that economy or businesses is being globalized, so it's important to foster the distance between domestic student and international student.
They have events every month, second Friday. If you are thinking of making foreign friends and exposing to different cultures, this will be a perfect place for you.
I find it really interesting, and it definitely will help me be a better worldly person who's able to interact with people of other countries with understanding and respect than if I just speak with people who only think the way I do all the time.
This is Ye Zishen, reporting from Daily Iowan TV.
Whitey's Ice Cream's old building has finally found a permanent resident. The 115-year-old building on East Washington Street will be home to a new and unique men's clothing store. The store will be focusing on fashion-forward thinking by taking inspiration from all over the globe. Mark Ginsburg, the owner of the building, believes that the store will add diversity to Iowa City. Ginsburg has been working since the beginning of the year to renovate the building to bring back its historic character, with a goal of bringing something different to the downtown area. The store will be moving into the building on October 17th.
What was once an old home will now be a new homeless shelter, but will be only available to women. A new women's homeless shelter is opening in Cedar Rapids and will be right next to an existing shelter for men. The new shelter will have beds for 12 women year-round and up to 16 when there's greater need for space in the winter. One of the people behind the new shelter, Martin Dwyer, said the nonprofit group expects to spend about $125,000 both buying and renovating the old home into a shelter. The shelter will be open January 1st. Well, Kelsey, I hope you went to the game on Saturday. It was a really good one.
I didn't have time, but I'm very happy that we're still 6-0.
Absolutely. Let's send it over to Ashlyn and Alyssa in the sports studio to get everything on Hawkeye Athletics.
It's another Sunday here on Daily Iowan TV, and we have the recap of Iowa's hard-fought battle against Illinois.
The Big Ten schedule is always a tough one for any team, but it seems like Iowa is taking it with pride.
There is no question about that, Ashlyn. Katie Reber was at Kinnick Stadium Saturday and tells us how Iowa pulled off another win.
Iowa took down another Big Ten opponent on Saturday as the offense and defense collectively brought the Hawks out on top in this head-to-head battle against Illinois. When the defense couldn't, the offense could, and this dynamic brought the Hawks through to their homecoming victory. The Hawkeyes offense started off strong, scoring on their second drive of the game as quarterback C.J. Beathard connects with tight end George Kittle for a 21-yard touchdown. Kicker Marshall Kane misses the extra point, and Illinois answers with a touchdown to put the Fighting Illini up 7-6. Heading to the second quarter, Beathard passes to Germanic Smith for 49 yards before running back Jordan Canzeri receives a 17-yard pass to put up a touchdown for Iowa. Kane makes the extra point and the Hawks are back in the lead 13-7. To finish off the second quarter, Kane makes a 19-yard field goal and Iowa leads Illinois 16-7 at half. Illinois begins the second half with the ball, scoring a 37-yard field goal. The Hawks are not able to score in turn, and the ball is back in Illinois' possession as kicker Taylor Zalewski makes another 40-yard field goal with just under 3 minutes left of the third quarter. Iowa's Jordan Canzeri answers as he rushes for 75 yards to put 7 on the scoreboard for the Hawks. Iowa is now up 23-13. To close out the third quarter, Iowa's defense makes a huge play as defensive back Greg Maben intercepts Illinois' wide receiver Geronimo Allison. But Allison makes up for this as he catches a 53-yard bullet for a touchdown to put the Fighting Illini back in the game. Illinois cuts Iowa's lead to 3 points as the Hawks lead 23-20. With 10 minutes left, the Hawks drain almost 7 minutes off the clock as Canzeri has 11 consecutive carries, leading Iowa to Illinois' 16-yard line, where Kane makes the field goal, putting the Hawks up 26-20. Iowa's defense continues the momentum as linebacker Josie Jewell recovers a fumble from Keyshawn Vaughn with just over 3 minutes left. Canzeri rushes for Marshall Kane to make a 40-yard field goal, sealing the deal for the Hawks as they win the game 29-20. Here at Kinnick Stadium, the energy of the crowd was off the charts as the Hawks improved to 6-0 on the season and 2-0 in the Big Ten. Here in Kinnick Stadium, this is Katie Reber, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
With this W under their belt, it puts Iowa at a 6-0 on the season for their first time since 2009 and the second time under head coach Kirk Ferentz.
This also makes Iowa bowl eligible for the 14th time in the last 15 years.
There's a lot riding on the season and nothing gets easier for Iowa,
especially when they head to Northwestern next week with some players on the injury list.
But there's no doubt in these Hawkeyes' eyes that they can't continue this surge. Taylor Brooks has more.
The Iowa sideline is full of players who are ready to step onto the field when needed. And that mentality is something a team needs when key players go down. And Iowa's motto, the next man up, goes hand in hand with that exact concept.
Our philosophy around here is the next man in. It doesn't matter who goes down or what happens. It's the next guy, and he's expected to do his job just like the starter is.
The next man in, we talk about it all the time, the next man in's got to be ready. And
next man in, and then next man ready on top of it.
Multiple players took the opportunity to be that very guy. It started with true freshman Germanic Smith. The wide receiver has been the void for Tavon Smith.
For him to have a little success, been great for him to get one more catcher at the end, but that's the next step. That's the next step. You got to start somewhere.
The offense also saw play from another true freshman, James Daniels. When Jordan Walsh went out in the first half due to a shoulder injury, he stepped in. When Ike Bodiger went out in the second half, he stepped in again.
He's a good athlete. Good football player. I think you're just getting a little worked up, and that's typical. That's not really too shocking of a true freshman.
For James to be thrown in that situation, this will be a great learning experience.
James is a great athlete, and I think he did a great job today.
From the defensive side, Drew Ott went down on a punt from Illinois. Parker Hesse came in from the sidelines to take his spot, but Ott was still invested, crutches and all.
Drew is just, he's totally immersed in this whole thing. So, it's a shame. It's just a tough deal. Go back to 81, Bruce Kittle getting hurt up at Michigan. When a senior gets hurt and can't play, that's a bad deal.
It also helped that defensive lineman Jaleel Johnson had a career best 6 tackles and a quarterback sack. With the Big Ten schedule just starting, Iowa's going to need more and more players who are willing to be the next man up. Reporting inside Kinnick Stadium, this has been Taylor Brooks for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Now going back to Drew Ott, there have been multiple reports that came out on Sunday that he did suffer from a torn ACL.
This has not yet been confirmed by the Iowa football team, but if that is the case, the defensive line is going to have some big shoes to fill.
But I think that they would be up to the challenge.
I think so too, but that does it for us tonight on Fifth Quarter Football. Make sure to tune in back into Daily Iowan TV Sports Monday, where Iowa soccer had 2 important Big Ten matchups this over the weekend.
Back to you at the desk.
An Extra Gum commercial is making people all over the country feel the love.
The commercial follows the love story of Sarah and Juan. The ad already has over 2.5 million views on YouTube, and the numbers are still growing.
After watching the commercial, social media exploded with posts ranging from people saying they cried over the commercial or that they will now only chew extra gum.
It sure was an adorable video.
I mean, I will for sure be chewing extra gum from now on.
That's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check us out online at dailyiowan.com for the latest news between now and Sunday. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Hannah Hawks.
And I'm Kelsey Stanger. Have a good rest of your night.